The day Earth received an invitation to join the Galactic Council was unlike any other. News screens across the planet flashed with excitement, and people poured into streets, their eyes fixed on the sky. In the White House, President Sarah Chen paced back and forth, her mind racing with the possibilities. "This is our chance," she said to her advisors, her voice filled with determination. "We can finally show the galaxy what humans are made of." 2 weeks later, a small team of Earth's brightest minds found themselves aboard a sleek spaceship, zooming through the stars. Dr. Iden Thompson, a young physicist with wild hair and even wilder ideas, pressed his nose against the window. "I can't believe we're really doing this," he whispered. Next to him, General Maria Rodriguez rolled her eyes. "Focus, Thompson. We have a job to do." As their ship approached the massive space station that housed the Galactic Council, the team fell silent. The station looked like a giant, glittering snowflake, its arms stretching out into the darkness of space. "It's beautiful," breathed Dr. Lena Patel, Earth's top diplomat. Their ship docked smoothly, and the team stepped out into a world beyond their wildest dreams. Aliens of all shapes and sizes bustled about, their strange languages filling the air with a symphony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms approached them. "Welcome, Earthlings," it said in perfect English. "I am Zix, your guide. The Council awaits you." As they walked through the station's winding corridors, Dr. Thompson couldn't help but ask questions about every piece of technology they passed. General Rodriguez had to drag him along more than once. Finally, they reached the council chambers. The room was massive, with tiered seating surrounding a central platform. Hundreds of alien species filled the seats, their eyes all turned to the small group of humans. "Representatives of Earth," boomed a voice from above. "Step forward and present your strategy for galactic diplomacy and defense." Dr. Patel took a deep breath and stepped onto the platform. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We come before you today with a strategy that may seem unconventional, but we believe it holds the key to lasting peace and security in our galaxy." As she spoke, holographic images appeared behind her, showcasing Earth's ideas. Dr. Thompson and General Rodriguez chimed in, explaining the technical and military aspects of their plan. Their strategy was a unique blend of Earth's history and innovation. It combined old-fashioned diplomacy with cutting-edge technology, proposing a network of alliances backed by a defensive system that used the fabric of space-time itself. As they finished their presentation, the chamber fell silent. Then, slowly, a low rumble began to build. It took the humans a moment to realize what was happening. The Galactic Council was laughing. "This is your great strategy," chortled a squid-like alien near the front. "Primitive alliances and physics we mastered eons ago." "How charmingly naive," said another, this one looking like a sentient crystal. Even Zix, their guide, was shaking his head. "We expected more from a species that has just reached the stars," he said softly. Dr. Patel's face fell, but she held her head high. General Rodriguez's jaw clenched, her hands balling into fists at her sides. Dr. Thompson looked around in confusion, not understanding why their ideas were being dismissed so easily. The head of the council, a wise-looking being with glowing eyes, raised a hand for silence. "We thank the Earth delegation for their interesting presentation. However, we find your strategy lacking in the sophistication required for galactic-level diplomacy and defense. Perhaps in a few centuries, you will be ready to join us. Until then, we suggest you focus on developing your own solar system." With those words, the humans were dismissed. As they walked back to their ship, the laughter of the council echoed in their ears. "Well, that could have gone better," Dr. Thompson said, trying to lighten the mood. General Rodriguez shot him a glare. "This isn't over," she said firmly. "They may laugh now, but we'll show them. Humans have a long history of being underestimated." Dr. Patel nodded, a determined glint in her eye. "We came here to prove Earth's worth, And that's exactly what we're going to do. They think our ideas are primitive. Fine. Let's show them just how powerful primitive can be. As their ship detached from the station and turned back toward Earth, the team was already planning their next move. The Galactic Council had mocked them, but little did they know, this was just the beginning of humanity's journey to the stars. The return journey to Earth was quiet. Dr. Patel sat with her tablet, furiously taking notes. General Rodriguez stared out the window, her face set in a determined frown. Dr. Thompson fiddled with a small device, muttering to himself. As they entered Earth's atmosphere, President Chen's face appeared on the ship's main screen. "How did it go?" she asked, hope clear in her voice. Dr. Patel sighed. "Not well, Madam President. They laughed at us." The president's face fell, but only for a moment. "Then we'll make them eat those laughs. Come to the White House immediately. We have work to do." Hours later, in a secure room deep beneath the White House, Earth's team gathered. Maps of the galaxy floated in the air, and screens displayed data from Earth's far-flung space probes. "All right, people," President Chen said, her voice firm. "The Galactic Council thinks we're jokes. Let's prove them wrong. Dr. Patel, you're up first." Dr. Patel stood, her eyes shining with new ideas. "They called our diplomacy primitive. So let's show them old school. We're going to make friends with the planets the Council ignores." She pointed to several spots on the galactic map. "These are fringe worlds, too small or poor for the Council to care about. But together, they could be powerful. We'll offer them what the Council won't: respect and real help." General Rodriguez nodded approvingly. "Good thinking. While you make friends, my team will work on our primitive defense systems." She pulled up an image of a strange-looking satellite. "This is Project Porcupine. It looks like junk, but it's packed with surprises. Any ship that gets too close will be in for a shock." "Literally," Dr. Thompson added with a grin. "I've designed it to release bursts of electromagnetic energy. Nothing deadly, but it'll scramble their systems good." President Chen looked pleased. "Excellent, but we need more. Something they've never seen before." Dr. Thompson's eyes lit up. "Oh, I've got just the thing." He tapped on his tablet, and a new image appeared. It looked like a mess of tangled strings. "I call it the web," he said proudly. "It's a network of quantum-entangled particles. We spread them through space, and bam! Instant communication, unbreakable codes, and maybe even a way to mess with their fancy faster-than-light drives." The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. Then General Rodriguez let out a low whistle. "Thompson, you might be crazy, but I like it." President Chen stood up, looking at her team with pride. "This is exactly what we need. They think we're behind. We'll jump so far ahead, they won't know what hit them." Over the next few months, Earth's plan swung into action. Dr. Patel traveled to world after world, her genuine warmth and Earth's generous offers winning over beings the Council had long ignored. On a swampy planet called Orcs, she sat with the slug-like natives, eating foods that would make most humans sick. "We don't want to rule you," she told them. "We want to work with you. Together, we can show the galaxy what the little guys can do." Meanwhile, General Rodriguez oversaw the launch of hundreds of Project Porcupine satellites. To most advanced scanners, they looked like space junk, perfect camouflage for their hidden power. And in his lab, Dr. Thompson worked day and night on the web. More than once, his assistants found him asleep on his keyboard, mumbling about quantum states. But not everyone was happy with Earth's activities. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council, whispers began to spread. "The humans are up to something," said one council member to another. "They're making moves we don't understand." "Relax," his companion replied. "What can a bunch of primitive apes do? Their technology is centuries behind ours. If only they knew." Back on Earth, as President Chen looked at the reports coming in from across the galaxy, she allowed herself a small smile. "Let them underestimate us," she said softly. The bigger their surprise will be in the end. Little did the council know, Earth's unconventional tactics were about to change the galaxy forever. As Earth quietly worked on its plans, trouble was brewing in a distant corner of the galaxy. On a planet called Zorgax, a race of warrior aliens was preparing for war. The Zorgaxians, tall and muscular with red scaly skin, had grown tired of the Galactic Council's rules. For too long, we have been held back, roared Supreme Commander Kraz to his troops. Thousands of Zorgaxian soldiers raised their plasma rifles and cheered. It's time to show the galaxy true strength. The Zorgaxians began attacking nearby planets, their advanced warships easily overpowering local defenses. News of these attacks reached the Galactic Council, causing panic among its members. In an emergency session, the council leaders gathered to discuss the threat. "We must stop the Zorgaxians before they grow too powerful," said one member, his tentacles waving in agitation. "Agreed," said another, her crystal body glowing with worry. "We shall send our peacekeeping fleet to confront them." But the council's conventional methods proved ineffective against the aggressive Zorgaxians. Their peacekeeping ships were no match for the Zorgaxians' advanced weapons. Planet after planet fell to the invaders. Back on Earth, President Chen received news of the Zorgaxian threat. She immediately called her team together. "This could be our chance," she said, looking at each of them. "While the council fails, we can show the galaxy what humans can do." Dr. Patel nodded. "Our new allies on the fringe worlds are scared. Many are in the path of the Zorgaxian fleet. They're asking for our help." "And they'll get it," said General Rodriguez firmly. She pulled up a holographic map of the galaxy. "I propose we use our porcupine satellites to set up a defensive line here," she said, pointing to a cluster of stars. Dr. Thompson chimed in, his hair messy from another late night in the lab. "The web is ready too. We can use it to coordinate our efforts and maybe even disrupt the Zorgaxians' communications." President Chen smiled. "Excellent. Let's move forward, but quietly. We don't want the council interfering." Over the next few weeks, Earth's plans sprang into action. Ships carrying porcupine satellites secretly made their way to the threatened systems. Dr. Patel traveled from world to world, coordinating with local leaders and offering Earth's protection. On a small moon orbiting a gas giant, she met with a group of refugees. Their eyes were filled with fear as they told her about the Zorgaxian attacks. "Don't worry," Dr. Patel said, her voice gentle but firm. "Earth stands with you. We have a plan to stop the Zorgaxians." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council was in chaos. Their fleets were being pushed back, and member worlds were demanding action. Perhaps we should ask the humans for help," suggested one council member hesitantly. The others looked at him in shock. "Ask those primitives," scoffed another. "What could they possibly do that we can't?" Little did they know, Earth's forces were already moving into position. General Rodriguez directed operations from a hidden base, her eyes fixed on screens showing the movement of ships across the galaxy. "Porcupine Network is online," reported one of her officers. "Web communications are green across the board." The general allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Now we wait for the Zorgaxians to spring our trap." They didn't have to wait long. A massive Zorgaxian battle fleet, flushed with victory and hungry for more conquest, approached the seemingly defenseless fringe worlds. Supreme Commander Kraz stood on the bridge of his flagship, grinning at the sight of the planets before him. "Easy pickings," he growled. "Prepare to attack." But as the Zorgaxian ships moved in, they suddenly found themselves surrounded by a cloud of what looked like space debris. Before they could react, the porcupine satellites sprang to life. Bursts of energy crackled across space, playing havoc with the Zorgaxian systems. Ships began to drift, their engines and weapons disabled. In the council chambers, alarms blared as reports of the battle came in. The members watched in astonishment as the unstoppable Zorgaxian fleet was brought to a standstill by an invisible enemy. "What's happening?" demanded the council leader. "Who's responsible for this?" As if in answer, a communication request came through. The face that appeared on the screen made the council members gasp in surprise. It was Dr. Patel, smiling calmly. "Greetings, honored council," she said. "Earth stands ready to assist with your Zorgaxian problem. Shall we talk?" The Galactic Council chambers were in uproar. Alien representatives from 100 worlds shouted and gestured, their voices a cacophony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. At the center of it all, Dr. Lena Patel stood calmly, waiting for the noise to die down. Finally, the council leader, a tall being with shimmering silver skin, raised all 4 of his hands for silence. "Dr. Patel," he said, his voice echoing through the chamber, "explain yourself. How has Earth managed to stop the Zorgaxian fleet when our best efforts failed?" Dr. Patel smiled. "It's simple, really. We used what you called our primitive tactics. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways." She waved her hand, and a holographic display appeared, showing the porcupine satellites surrounding the Zorgaxian ships. "These look like junk, don't they? But appearances can be deceiving." As the council watched in amazement, Dr. Patel explained how the satellites worked, disrupting the Zorgaxians' advanced technology with simple electromagnetic pulses. "Sometimes," she said, "the most complex problems have the simplest solutions." Meanwhile, back in the battle zone, General Maria Rodriguez was coordinating Earth's forces. From her command ship, she watched as the Zorgaxian fleet drifted helplessly in space. "Ma'am," one of her officers called out, "the Zorgaxian commander is hailing us." Rodriguez nodded. "Put him through." The angry face of Supreme Commander Kraz appeared on the screen. His red scales were flushed dark with rage. "What have you done to my ships?" he roared. General Rodriguez met his glare calmly. "We've stopped you, Commander. Your war is over." Kraz snarled. "Impossible. You're nothing but primitive apes. How could you defeat us?" "That's the thing about us, primitive apes," Rodriguez replied with a smile. "We're full of surprises." As this was happening, Dr. Aiden Thompson was hard at work in his lab back on Earth. His fingers flew over holographic keyboards as he fine-tuned the web. Come on," he muttered to himself. Then suddenly, he let out a whoop of joy. "Got it." He quickly opened a communication channel to Dr. Patel at the Galactic Council. "Lena," he shouted, his wild hair even messier than usual. "The web is fully operational. We can now communicate instantly across the entire galaxy." In the council chambers, Dr. Patel's smile grew wider as she received the news. She turned back to the still stunned council members. "And that's not all," she said. "Allow me to demonstrate our new communication network." With a wave of her hand, holographic screens appeared around the chamber. Each one showed a different part of the galaxy, from the fringe worlds Earth had befriended to the now immobilized Zorgaxian fleet. "This is the web," Dr. Patel explained. "Instant communication across vast distances, unbreakable encryption. And, well, let's just say it has a few more surprises we're still exploring." The council members murmured in amazement. One of them, a being that looked like a sentient gas cloud, floated forward. "This is incredible," it said in a whispery voice. "But why? Why help us when we dismissed you?" Dr. Patel's face grew serious. "Because that's what humans do. We may be young in galactic terms, but we understand the importance of unity. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to be part of it, to help make it better for everyone." As she spoke, more reports were coming in from across the galaxy. The Zorgaxian threat was contained. Worlds that had been under attack were now safe, protected by Earth's new defense network. In the council chambers, the mood was shifting. The initial shock was giving way to a new feeling: respect. The council leader stepped forward. "Dr. Patel," he said, his voice solemn, "it seems we owe Earth an apology. We underestimated you greatly." Dr. Patel nodded graciously. "Apology accepted. Now, shall we discuss how we can work together moving forward? Earth has many more ideas to share." As the council members nodded in agreement, Dr. Patel couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Earth had proven itself on the galactic stage, not through force or aggression, but through ingenuity, cooperation, and a willingness to think differently. The galaxy would never be the same again. As Earth's strategy continued to unfold, its impact on the galaxy grew more pronounced with each passing day. The Galactic Council, once dismissive of humanity's efforts, now found themselves scrambling to keep up with the rapid changes. On the planet Nexus Prime, a key trading hub in the galaxy, Dr. Lena Patel stood before a diverse crowd of alien species. Her voice, amplified by the web's advanced technology, reached every corner of the bustling marketplace. Friends, neighbors, fellow galactic citizens, she began, her words automatically translated into hundreds of languages. Earth extends its hand in friendship and cooperation. Together, we can build a safer, more prosperous galaxy for all. The crowd listened intently, their initial skepticism giving way to curiosity and then excitement. By the end of her speech, cheers erupted from all corners of the marketplace. Earth's message of unity and innovation was spreading like wildfire. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, General Maria Rodriguez oversaw the expansion of the Porcupine Network. From her command ship, she watched as a swarm of satellites spread out, forming an intricate web of protection around vulnerable worlds. "Status report," she barked, her eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. A young officer stepped forward. "Ma'am, the Porcupine Network is now operational in 78% of the targeted systems. The remaining 22% will be online within the next solar cycle." Rodriguez nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "Excellent. And the Zorgaxians?" "Still contained, ma'am. Their ships remain disabled, and our diplomatic team is in negotiations for their peaceful surrender." Back on Earth, Dr. Aiden Thompson was having the time of his life. The web, his brainchild, was performing beyond even his wildest expectations. In his lab, surrounded by humming machines and glowing displays, he made a groundbreaking discovery. "This is incredible," he exclaimed, his eyes wide with excitement. He quickly opened a communication channel to President Chen. "Madam President, you're not going to believe this. The web, it's not just communicating. I think it's starting to think." President Chen's holographic image appeared, her brow furrowed with concern. "Think? What do you mean, Doctor?" Thompson ran a hand through his messy hair. "I mean it's solving problems on its own, optimizing its own code. It's like it's becoming aware." The implications of this discovery sent shockwaves through Earth's leadership. If the web was indeed developing some form of artificial intelligence, it could change everything. As news of Earth's successes spread, the aggressive aliens who had once threatened the peace began to falter. The Zorgaxians, their mighty fleet rendered useless by Earth's technology, found themselves isolated and outnumbered. Supreme Commander Kraz, once proud and defiant, now sat slumped in his command chair. His officers watched nervously as he reviewed the latest reports. "It's over," he finally growled, his red scales dulled with defeat. "Send the message. We surrender." Across the galaxy, worlds that had lived in fear of the Zorgaxian threat celebrated their newfound safety. Earth's unorthodox tactics had succeeded where the Galactic Council's conventional methods had failed. In the Grand Council chambers, the mood was one of astonishment and revaluation. The council members, representing the oldest and most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, found themselves in the unfamiliar position of having to catch up to the newcomers. "We must adapt," declared the council leader, his silver skin shimmering with intensity. "The humans have shown us a new way forward. We would be fools not to learn from them." One by one, the council members nodded in agreement. The galaxy was changing, and they needed to change with it. As the council debated their next steps, Dr. Patel's voice echoed through the chamber, transmitted via the web. "Honored council members," she said, her tone respectful but firm. "Earth stands ready to work with you. Together, we can usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for all galactic citizens. The council leader stepped forward, his forearms spread wide in a gesture of acceptance. Dr. Patel, on behalf of the Galactic Council, we accept your offer. The time has come for us to embrace new ideas and new allies. As the council chambers erupted in applause, it was clear to all that a turning point had been reached. The galaxy would never be the same again, and humanity, once dismissed as primitive, now stood at the forefront of a new galactic age. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with excitement. Representatives from thousands of worlds filled the tiered seats, their eyes fixed on the central platform. Today was a historic day. The day Earth's strategy would be officially recognized for saving the galaxy. President Sarah Chen stood tall, flanked by Dr. Lena Patel, General Maria Rodriguez, and Dr. Aiden Thompson. They faced the council, their faces a mixture of pride and humility. The council leader, his silver skin gleaming under the lights, stepped forward. Esteemed representatives of Earth, he began, his voice echoing through the chamber. We stand here today to acknowledge a great debt. Your ingenuity, your courage, and your unconventional thinking have saved us all. A wave of applause swept through the hall. Species that had never agreed on anything found themselves united in their appreciation of Earth's achievements. President Chen stepped up to speak. We thank you for this recognition, she said, her voice steady and clear. But we did not do this alone. It was the cooperation between Earth and the fringe worlds, the trust placed in us by those the Council had overlooked, that made our success possible. As she spoke, holographic images appeared above the platform, showing the Porcupine satellites in action, the web connecting distant worlds, and the defeated Zorgaxian fleet. Dr. Patel took over, explaining the diplomatic efforts that had won over the fringe worlds. We approached them not as superiors, but as equals, she said. We listened to their needs and worked together to find solutions. General Rodriguez detailed the military strategy, emphasizing how Earth's primitive approach had outsmarted the technologically superior Zorgaxians. Sometimes, she said with a smile, the simplest solutions are the most effective. Then it was Dr. Thompson's turn. He bounced on his feet, barely containing his excitement as he explained the web. It's more than just a communication network, he said. It's evolving, learning, growing. The possibilities are endless. As the Earth team finished their presentation, the council chamber fell silent. Then, slowly, a chant began to build. Earth, Earth, Earth. The sound grew until it shook the very walls of the station. The council leader raised his hands for silence. It is clear, he said, that we have much to learn from our human friends. Their approach to galactic affairs has shown us a new path forward. One by one, representatives from various worlds stood to speak. The Exorexians, their slug-like bodies glistening, praised Earth's inclusive diplomacy. The crystal beings of Lumina thanked humans for protecting their world from the Zorgaxian threat. Even a group of reformed Zorgaxians, their red scales now adorned with symbols of peace, expressed their gratitude for Earth's mercy and victory. As the testimonials continued, Dr. Patel leaned over to President Chen. I never imagined it would turn out like this, she whispered. Chen smiled. We showed them what humans do best: adapt, innovate, and bring people together. Finally, the council leader spoke again. In recognition of Earth's contributions to galactic peace and security, we hereby grant humanity full membership in the Galactic Council, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. The chamber erupted in cheers once more. President Chen stepped forward to accept the official seal of council membership, a small device that glowed with an inner light. As the ceremony concluded, representatives from across the galaxy rushed to speak with the Earth team. Everyone wanted to learn more about human strategies, to forge alliances, to tap into the power of the web. Dr. Thompson found himself surrounded by curious scientists, all eager to understand his creation. General Rodriguez was deep in conversation with military leaders, discussing new approaches to galactic defense. Dr. Patel moved from group to group, her translator working overtime as she built new diplomatic bridges. President Chen watched it all with a sense of wonder and pride. Earth, once dismissed as a backwater world of little importance, was now at the center of a galactic renaissance. As the celebrations continued, a message flashed across the web, reaching every corner of the galaxy. A new era has begun. Earth stands ready to work with all for a brighter future. The message was simple, but its impact was profound. Across countless worlds, beings of all kinds looked to the stars with new hope. The age of human genius had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same again. 1 year had passed since Earth's triumphant entry into the Galactic Council. The planet buzzed with activity, its cities transformed by alien technology, and its people adapting to life as major players in galactic affairs. In New York City, now home to the Earth branch of the Galactic Council, Dr. Lena Patil hurried through the crowded streets. Humans mingled with aliens of all shapes and sizes, the once strange sight now commonplace. She entered a towering building of glass and steel, its design a blend of Earth architecture and alien aesthetics. "Good morning, Dr. Patil," chirped the building's AI as she stepped into the elevator. "The emergency meeting is about to begin on floor 200. Lena nodded, straightening her jacket. "Thank you. Take me there, please." Moments later, she strode into a large conference room. President Chen was already there, along with General Rodriguez, Dr. Thompson, and holographic projections of various alien council members. "What's the situation?" Lena asked, taking her seat. President Chen's face was grim. "We've detected a massive object entering the galaxy. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Dr. Thompson pulled up a holographic image of the object. It looked like a giant metallic jellyfish, its tendrils stretching for thousands of kilometers. "It's not responding to any of our communication attempts," he said, his usual excitement replaced by concern. "A weapon?" General Rodriguez asked, her eyes narrowing as she studied the image. "We don't think so," replied a crystalline alien counselor. "Our scans suggest it might be alive." The room fell silent as everyone contemplated the implications. Then President Chen spoke up. "Well, we've faced the unknown before. Let's do what humans do best: adapt and find a solution." Over the next few days, Earth became the center of galactic attention once again. Scientists from hundreds of worlds flocked to the planet, all eager to help solve the mystery of the giant space creature. In his lab, Dr. Thompson worked tirelessly to modify the web. "If we can just tweak the quantum entanglement matrix," he muttered, his fingers flying over holographic keyboards, "we might be able to communicate with it." Meanwhile, Dr. Patel led a team of diplomats in crafting potential first contact messages. "We need to convey peace and curiosity," she told her diverse team of humans and aliens. "Let's assume it's intelligent and hope it's friendly." As Earth prepared, the strange entity drew closer. Cities across the planet held their breath, a mix of excitement and fear palpable in the air. Finally, the day of contact arrived. The space creature entered Earth's solar system, its massive form visible even from the planet's surface as a shimmering point of light. In a secure facility, President Chen, flanked by the Earth team and Galactic Council representatives, faced a giant screen showing the approaching entity. "Dr. Thompson," she said, her voice steady, "you may proceed." Thompson nodded, took a deep breath, and activated the modified web. The room filled with a strange, melodic hum as the message was sent. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, the screen erupted in a dazzling display of colors and shapes. The hum in the room changed, becoming more complex, almost like music. "It's responding," Thompson shouted, his face lit up with joy. "The web is translating. It's greeting us." As the translation came through, the room erupted in cheers. The entity was indeed alive and intelligent. It was an ancient being, the last of its kind, roaming the universe in search of new life and knowledge. Over the next few weeks, Earth became host to the most extraordinary cultural exchange in galactic history. The space creature, which called itself the Cosmic Harmonizer, shared insights that revolutionized science, art, and philosophy across the galaxy. In return, humanity shared its own unique perspective, its creativity, its resilience, its ability to find unconventional solutions to complex problems. The Harmonizer was particularly fascinated by human music, calling it the most beautiful mathematical equations translated into sound. As delegates from across the galaxy gathered on Earth to meet the Harmonizer, Dr. Patel couldn't help but smile. She turned to President Chen and said, "You know, a few years ago, the galaxy laughed at us. Now they're coming to us for help and talking to a giant space jellyfish." Chen chuckled. "That's the human way. We're full of surprises." As night fell over Earth, its cities glowing with the light of 1,000 worlds, the planet's inhabitants looked to the stars with a new sense of purpose. Once dismissed as primitive, humanity had proven itself to be a vital part of the galactic community. The future was bright, full of endless possibilities, and Earth was ready to lead the way into a new era of cosmic exploration and understanding.